In 2008, a series of cryptic predictions appeared on the Godlike Productions forum, posted by someone claiming to be an interdimensional entity. These messages, later explored in a 2011 Nexus magazine interview with a government whistleblower, mention names like Sharon, Mandela and Thatcher, sometimes before these figures reached new levels of global attention. Some predictions later seem to echo real-world events, while others remain unverified or open to interpretation. The entity's posts drew extra attention because they resurfaced years after scientists reportedly lost contact with it around 1999 during the sweeping Y2K computer upgrades. But what truly set these messages apart wasn't just their content, it was the way they were written. Instead, what stands out is the entity's use of broken English, simple, sometimes jarring phrases that almost seem constructed to draw attention. The language wasn't just unpolished, it was almost childlike, with basic grammar and unusual word order. Some who've studied the Chani Project suggest this style was a deliberate choice, possibly by the government propagandist behind the leaks, to mimic the direct, unfiltered nature of anonymous forum drops and mask any obvious human fingerprints. Others believe the broken English might serve a different purpose, acting as a kind of subtle encryption or as a bridge between perspectives, making complex or alien concepts accessible to a wider audience. The messages are filled with repeated patterns, particularly the phrases illusion of infinity and infinity of illusion. These lines, which appear throughout the forum posts, don't just sound mysterious, they hint at ideas that are hard to express in standard language. The entity would often pair these words in shifting combinations as if to suggest that reality is more flexible than it seems, or that our understanding of time and space is only one way of seeing things. Rather than offering clear explanations, the broken English creates a sense of ambiguity, inviting readers to look for hidden meanings. At times, the entity's statements seem to mirror the language used in channeling, where unconventional or contradictory phrasing is common. This approach might be an attempt to express concepts that don't fit neatly into human categories, or to bypass the limitations of ordinary speech. For example, when the entity says, "You see time as line, but time is ocean," it's not just a translation issue, it's a way of framing time as something much more fluid, hinting at a perspective where past, present and future overlap. Some researchers have speculated that the errors and odd syntax were intentional, designed to make the messages memorable or to test how readers interpret uncertainty. In psychological operations, cryptic language can be used to see how ideas spread, and the Chani Project's posts seem to fit that pattern. However, the repeated motifs and distinctive style also set the entity apart, creating a unique identity that stands out from other sources. Ultimately, the broken English and recurring phrases aren't just quirks, they might be clues, woven into the fabric of the messages themselves. Whether this style was meant to conceal, reveal, or simply intrigue, it plays a central role in how the predictions were delivered. And it's those predictions, some that seem to foreshadow real-world events, that continue to puzzle and captivate those who study the Chani Project. Within the Chani Project's forum drops, the predictions often blurred the line between the specific and the ambiguous. Figures like Sharon, Mandela and Thatcher appeared repeatedly, with warnings that they would face serious illness or death before certain dates like May 15 or June 15. The posts also referenced an Obama accident before April 27th, a big sickness before May 15th, and cryptic threats such as a Japan warring thing and an oil-related sickness. These messages were presented as originating from communications between 1994 and 1999, but the years attached to the predictions remained intentionally vague, leaving room for interpretation and uncertainty. Some viewers noticed that a handful of these predictions seemed to align with later events, like Mandela's health decline or changes in oil markets, but many remained open-ended or never materialized in ways that could be clearly verified. The reference to Obama was notable for its timing, appearing before his presidency, but details about the supposed accident never matched any public incident. The oil sickness could be interpreted as a warning about economic hardship, environmental disaster, or even radiation in oil, but no single event fits the description exactly. Likewise, no clear, secret war with Japan has ever been confirmed, and the warnings about a big sickness before May 15th remain ambiguous, especially given the lack of a specific year. This mix of vague and detailed predictions is a hallmark of certain psychological operations, where the intent isn't necessarily to predict the future,
but to observe how people respond to a blend of real and fabricated information. By combining plausible names and events with ambiguous timelines, the propagandists behind the Chani Project may have been experimenting with how far a narrative could stretch before skepticism set in. The lack of precise dates and the shifting nature of the forecasts allowed the story to adapt and persist, even as some claims faded into obscurity.
Skeptics on forums like boards.ie pointed out the inconsistencies and the broken English, suggesting that the entity could have been a troll or a deliberate construct. The absence of verifiable evidence, paired with the occasional specificity, left many wondering if the entire project was a test of belief and interpretation rather than a genuine attempt at prophecy. The language and structure of the predictions seemed to invite critical thinking, encouraging readers to question not just the content but the motivations behind its release. Amid these uncertainties, one recurring theme stood out: the entity's repeated focus on dolphins. While it might seem unrelated at first, this emphasis could hold a clue to the broader messages about reality and the possibility of timelines merging, dolphins, dimensions, and the Mandela Effect. Dolphins take center stage in the Chani Project's messages, surfacing again and again in the midst of predictions and speculation about reality's boundaries. The entity didn't just describe dolphins as intelligent animals, it claimed they are interdimensional, suggesting a consciousness that extends far beyond our own. This idea wasn't presented as random. On the forum, the repeated mention of mass dolphin strandings and the phrase that dolphins go suicide hinted at a symbolic connection between these animals and the shifting nature of our reality. Some interpretations draw on the forum's claim that ancient Sumerians depicted dolphins in spiritual roles, casting them as guides or protectors between worlds. The entity echoed this, referring to dolphins as keepers of harmonics who help stabilize Earth's energy fields. The emphasis wasn't on scientific proof, but on the symbolic weight dolphins carry, as if their presence, and especially their mass strandings, signal moments when something fundamental is changing in the world's underlying structure. The Chani Project's narrative links dolphins to the idea of merging timelines, connecting their role as anchors to the phenomenon known as the Mandela Effect. According to the entity, dolphins help smooth out the disruptions that occur when realities overlap, acting as a kind of buffer or stabilizer. This fits with observations of dolphin pods synchronizing behaviors across great distances, though the forum stops short of making any scientific claims about how this works. Instead, it leans into the mystery, suggesting that dolphins sense or respond to changes in Earth's harmonics, changes that might be triggered by the very merging of timelines the entity warns about. Remote viewers and some fringe researchers have picked up on this thread, proposing that dolphins' connection to Earth's energy grid could make them sensitive to disruptions that most humans never notice. The forum's references to dolphins singing the fabric of time and their supposed reactions before unusual events, like mass strandings, add another layer to the story. While these claims remain unverified, they serve to deepen the intrigue, making dolphins both a symbol and a potential indicator of shifts in reality. All of this raises a crucial question. Why did the forum's propagandists choose dolphins as a recurring motif in the first place? Their cultural mystique and the ambiguity of their role make them an ideal vehicle for speculation. But there may be more to it than that. As we move forward, it's worth considering whether these messages were designed to provoke curiosity, to plant seeds of doubt, or perhaps to test just how far the boundaries of belief can be pushed. When we look at how the Chani Project unfolded, it's important to focus on the methods described in the 2011 Nexus interview with the government whistleblower. This individual openly admitted to working as a propagandist, seeding online forums with a blend of authentic and fabricated material. The strategy was not about delivering pure prophecy or cosmic wisdom. It was a calculated effort to observe how people would respond to predictions and metaphysical claims, all while mixing genuine information with government-sanctioned disinformation. The approach relied on a well-established psychological tactic: create confusion by blending truth and fiction. The whistleblower described how messages posted under the guise of the entity would introduce names and events before they became widely significant. This is a hallmark of predictive programming, making the public familiar with certain ideas so that if or when they occur, they feel less surprising or even inevitable. The posts about figures like Obama and Mandela fit this pattern, and the ambiguity of the predictions allowed for a wide range of interpretations. By leaving timelines and details intentionally vague, the propagandists could monitor how narratives evolved and which ideas gained traction. The use of broken English in the messages was another deliberate choice. According to the whistleblower, this style made the posts more memorable and accessible, while also distancing them from official sources. The simplicity and odd phrasing added to the mystique, making it easier for the messages to spread and harder for readers to pin down their origin. This wasn't just a quirk, it was a tool for plausible deniability, ensuring that the posts could never be traced back to a single agenda. A key turning point in the narrative came with the loss of contact with the entity in 1999, which the whistleblower attributed to technical disruptions during the Y2K computer upgrades. After this, the forum drops continued, but researchers noticed that the tone and accuracy of the predictions shifted. Some believe this suggests that once the original source was gone, only the human propagandists remained, repurposing the entity's style to continue the psychological experiment. What emerges is a picture of information warfare that operates in the shadows of online culture. The Chani Project's blend of the extraordinary and the mundane, the real and the fabricated, was designed to challenge perceptions and test the boundaries of belief. The lines between genuine communication and manipulation were intentionally blurred, leaving readers to sort through uncertainty on their own. As we consider the legacy of these messages and the tactics behind them, we're left facing a deeper dilemma about the nature of reality and the stories we choose to believe. Instead, what stands out is how the Chani files reveal the thin line between extraordinary claims and intentional disinformation. The whistleblower's account confirms that some content was crafted to blur reality, mixing authentic-sounding predictions with government-influenced material. This deliberate confusion makes it harder to know what's genuine and what's designed to provoke a reaction. The real lesson is to approach every remarkable story, especially those that seem to bend the rules of reality, with careful skepticism. Think about how you decide what to trust, and consider sharing your thoughts in the comments. Which details felt convincing to you? Which raised red flags? Your perspective helps shape how these mysteries are understood. This was first released onto Godlike Productions' conspiracy forum in 2008 by Acolyte, who also wrote the piece for Nexus magazine. I will read an example of the entity's posts. Many things go wrong, 15th May, because door opens with portal to dark matters not understanding earth beings. Sharon will demise before 15th May. Mandela will demise before 15th May. Thatcher will stroke before 15th May. Japan warring thing will commencing before 15th May secretly. Oil gets very big sickness, no use anymore after 15th May. Old Bush will very sick before 15th May. Chani will demise before 15th June. Obama accident before 27th April. Big sickness before 15th May. Very moving earth on 17 Aprils. Ocean not sleeping when heaven things beware many waters to come drown. Brown cheat before 15 May. Putin missing after 15 May many worry. People do crazy things. Loving the content? Hit that like button and subscribe to join the crew. Your support helps me keep creating more of what you enjoy. Thanks for watching. See you in the next one.